Okay, we're going to call a meeting to order. We have two of our board members, one of them's on vacation, and the other one had an emergency in the family. Just for announcements, also EJ had an emergency in his family. He will not be here. So, we'll call the meeting to order June 5th, 24 at the Moose Lodge. And excuse me, because I go pretty fast. I don't mess around with this stuff. So, public input up to 3 minutes persists to discuss any item that's not within the committee's jurisdiction and is not on the agenda. Do we have anybody that would like to talk under public comment? Can you take some notes? Well,
Okay, yeah.
You're writing your words and mine. We're on public input.
Okay, I have to go get a couple of those papers. Like, you got any extra of the?
Hello,
I'll go get them.
is this on? I am Wynn Carey from Spring Valley. I keep getting emails from various fire people in the state of California. The California Fire Foundation has now got a statewide grant cycle open for fire departments, firefighter associations, federally recognized tribes, and community-based organizations. Let's see, just went through that. Preparedness, climate-related prevention and preparedness efforts are eligible to receive up to $25,000. Requests outside this range will be considered. They include vegetation mitigation and fuels reduction, education planning and community outreach campaign, personal protective equipment or specialized firefighting equipment. Applications are due June 30th. Awards are announced in August. Anybody interested in this? I'll put it on the table up here for you.
Thank you.
Chuck Lamb. We have a major problem on High Valley Road. The last 2 days, today and yesterday, we've had a semi-trailer block the whole road at the hairpin turn by Cerrito Boulevard. And yesterday I was in contact with one of the people that live up there, and they said that the road was shut down for 5 hours at that time, so I don't know how much longer it was shut down. Today, the same thing happened all over again. These great big semis heading up High Valley Road. I'd like to suggest that we put an item on the agenda that we need to deal with this. I was also just told that the speed limit for High Valley Road, believe it or not, is 55 miles per hour. So, I think what we need to do is we need to take this to EJ, we need to take this to the Public Works and get this thing rectified. You know, this is fire season. If you shut down that road for 5 hours, that's one way in and one way out for a lot of those residents. It's a major problem, not only fire, but emergency services. Somebody's got to get to the hospital. The road's shut down. Twice in 2 days we've had this problem. So I'd like to, again, I'd like to have that put on the agenda so we can rectify that. A suggestion might be to allow only smaller trucks to go up there, or certainly limit the size of the trucks so we don't have that happen, okay?
Thank you. Anybody else under public comment?
I'm from the Lake Village Estates down here, and we got a new owner. And they're real bad with us seniors. They came in and they started handing out 7-day notices to us to try and push us all out of the community. And we need rent control real bad there. This mobile home park percentage is way too high for us seniors. We're all on fixed incomes and we can't afford what they're doing to us. They're charging us for the remodel of the clubhouse. They came in and they sealed the road, which was a crappy job, and they want to charge us $131,000 for both of those projects. And we really need help over there to stop this LLC company, because apparently these LLCs are destroying communities throughout the lake. They're taking over these mobile home parks, raising the rent up, and charging us for all kinds of work. And their name's Boa Vida, and they really need to be looked at. We don't know what to do. You know, we've gone to the state, the Department of Housing and Community Development, they won't do nothing. Legal aid, they only do a certain thing and they won't go any further. So we kind of really need the rent control done in this county. It's way too high. What we hear, it's 10%, and we need it down to 3% or even lower. Something has to be done with this rent control, or you're going to have a bunch of seniors living on the street. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment? We need a motion to approve the minutes of May 1 of 24.
I second.
Move and second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we have a guest speaker, Terry Logston, Lake County Chief Climate Resiliency Officer. Go ahead, Terry.
Thank you so much. And I apologize that I'm going to be sitting down when I do my presentation so that I can advance the slides. But again, my name is Terry Logston. I'm the Chief Climate Resiliency Officer and Tribal Liaison for the County of Lake. And I was here last year, and I went to all of the municipal advisory councils and issued a survey. And so tonight, I'm going to go over some of the results of the survey and give you an update on what I've been working on, specifically grant-wise, that will benefit your community. And so I'm going to turn on this projector, which may be a little bit blinding, so heads up.
We might have to move. Just take a break.
There we go. Again, I apologize for sitting down, but in July of 2022, the County of Lake was rewarded a Prepare California Jumpstart Grant, which is comes from FEMA through Cal OES, the Office of Emergency Services. And after the contracts for the grant were completed, the county posted the position, and I began this position in December of 2022. And so the purpose of what I work on is to focus full-time on the development of comprehensive local resiliency strategies, you know, bringing people and organizations together to work on the issues that are important to our community. And I took most of these photos, except for the one that's on the bottom. That was from the Record B in the historic low water level in, I believe that was 1977. And we almost got there a couple of years ago, but the lake filled back up, so that's great. So the one-year deliverables that I met with all the cities, the tribal governments, county municipal advisory councils, and town halls, and issued the survey. I'm looking at the survey results and figuring out what the priorities are for each community to put in grant funding and to find local organizations in your community to address the issues that you've identified. And so I continue to support the redevelopment of the Lake County Fire Safe Council, which has received quite a bit of funding over the last year, and their intent is to support the other fire safe councils. Right now there are two others, the Canocti Fire Safe Council, which is in the area of the Rivieras, and the South Lake County Fire Safe Council. Support emergency evacuation route planning. I believe we talked about that at the meeting last year. The Property Owners Association for the Keys, someone from there, they were really concerned about an evacuation route plan for just that area. And we completed, through funding, a Soda Bay corridor evacuation route plan, which is available on the county website. And so, if, you know, we can look for additional funding to do one specific there, but I think most of you know, I believe Director Mireya Turner and/or her staff were here a couple months ago to talk about the local area plan and general plan updates, and part of that will be a county-wide evacuation route plan. You know, it's, when it comes to plans for evacuation routes, they can't be specific because they don't know the nature of the emergency or which way it's going to route people. But if the resources that are in the Soda Bay corridor evacuation route plan are great for anyone, anywhere in the county. And again, that's available on our website. So I continue to monitor for grant funding, coordinate with residents and interested parties, formulate recommendations for the consideration of county official regarding the best placement and enhanced effectiveness of the Lake County Fire Marshal. That's in my grant deliverables. The County of Lake, the chief building official, serves as the fire marshal, but his role is much different than, let's see, there's two fire departments, Lake County Fire Protection District in Clear Lake and Kelseyville Fire Protection District have fire marshals that do investigations of a fire, and they also primarily look at plans for development, and they sign off on those. And so the chief building official does that role, but he doesn't do fire investigations. So when I make that recommendation, what I'm going to recommend is that it stay within the Community Development Department. So support the implementation of the updated 2023 CWPP, the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, which let's see, the process started with the Lake County Fire Safe Council and the Lake County Resource Conservation District in 2022, I believe. The update process, and it took quite a while. They were trying to make it much more user-friendly, and so I pulled together a group of community representatives from community organizations like the Clear Lake Environmental Research Center and the RCD and North Coast Opportunities and Red Cross, and we went through all the public comments, incorporated them into the plan, and the plan was adopted by the Board of Supervisors. And this is a really important plan because there's a huge pot of money that is called the Community Wildfire Defense Grant, and that had to have a current CWPP no older than 10 years old in place to apply for those funds. And I'll talk about that in just in a few minutes. And then I assisted the Lake County Office of Emergency Services to incorporate climate change impacts into each section of the newly adopted local natural hazard mitigation plan, and added mitigation actions regarding tree mortality. You are probably aware that the County of Lake has declared a local emergency for mass tree mortality. The Risk Reduction Authority held a town hall last month regarding a new pest, which is an invasive pest that is called the Mediterranean oak borer, and it is impacting oak trees. It came into Napa most likely from wine barrels, Mediterranean, and it has moved up through Napa, through Middletown, and it's been confirmed as far as South Lakeport, but there's a good chance it's also on this side of the lake. We just don't have any confirmation, so I encourage you to look on the county website, Risk Reduction Authority, and on YouTube for that town hall to learn more about it, because not only do we have all of the bark beetles that are impacting our pine trees, now we have this invasive beetle impacting the white series of oaks, which includes valley oaks. Let's see, I'll go to the next slide. Just some of the things that I do. I think this is, more for the Board of Supervisors, and I'll get to the next slide, which is the grant deliverables. I am charged in my grant to apply or cause to have been applied for. I don't necessarily have to write all the grants. 4 grant applications per year. And so last year, in 9, I think maybe a few more than 9, over $66 million of grant applications went out in the county. So far, 31 million have been awarded, and we're still waiting for about half of those. What is the one? So we have the adaptation planning grant, which is going on, and that the funds from that are paying for the general plan update, the climate adaptation plan, and the countywide evacuation plan. The USDA Urban and Community Forestry, we did not get. That was a bummer. That was a nice ask. It would have done a lot of good work. Cal OES, the CDAA, the California Disaster Assistance Act request for tree mortality. We've asked for $21 million. We received $1 million from Senator Mike McGuire to pay for the initial surveys. Cal OES is requiring a sample size, and the tree mortality, the hardest hit area is around the Cobb, Big Valley, Lower Lake, Hidden Valley Lake area. And what we have asked for is funding to mitigate these dead and dying trees from drought and bark beetle that will land on the roads and block roads for evacuation, ingress and egress, particularly, during an evacuation event. And so they're on the ground. We contracted with Tetra Tech, and they are on the ground today, and the surveying has begun. But it's just in that one area. And the results from that, survey will determine how much, if any, Cal OES will award the county. We applied for a Community Resilience Center planning grant. We asked for 593, and we were not successful in that one. The grant that I mentioned earlier that's tied to the CWPP, the Community Wildfire Defense Grant, clerk was awarded $8 million. The Lake County Resource Conservation District applied with TERRA, the Tribal Eco Restoration Alliance, and they were awarded $7.3 million. And the Siegler Springs Community Redevelopment Association was awarded $250,000 to create a hyperlocal CWPP, again, that's Community Wildfire Protection Plan, for the Cobb area. So those were all just announced last week or so. It's pretty exciting. $16 million coming into Lake County for fuels reduction. We also applied for Regional Climate Collaboratives grant. We asked for $1.7 million, and the award was canceled because of the state budget, so no one got any of that money. The Risk Reduction Authority was about to be admitted into the Lake County, or into the state's biomass aggregation pilot project, and then the state decided to issue an RFP, so we responded to the RFP. We were supposed to hear on the 20th of May, and we haven't heard yet, so we're really hoping that the state hasn't decided to pull that funding. We'll see. And then one project that is, or a couple of projects actually, for this area, the California Housing and Community Development issued a community development block grant based on the 2018 fires for mitigation projects. Try to make sense of all of these acronyms. Resilient infrastructure projects that address flooding and fire concerns. And so we had an allocation, which meant we just had to submit the grant. So we've had many iterations of it, but we have submitted for $2.3 million of the allocation. $981,000 is for a LG Sonic buoy. There's 14, and I don't understand how this works, but these buoys float in the lake, and they break up the cyanotoxins, and they sink to the lake, and they don't release their toxins. And this was a project that was brought before the Blue Ribbon Committee for the Rehabilitation of Clear Lake, and they approved it. The state didn't have any funding, and so Supervisor Sabatier wanted to do this. It will be in the lower arm closer to Clear Lake, but if it works, we're going to find a lot more funding for these buoys. The second one is $1.7 million to upgrade the Kelseyville Senior Center, which is a facility that the county just purchased to make it a community resilience center and a community center for all of Lake County, but specifically the Kelseyville area. Oh, there's one of them that didn't show up. $125,000 project at our OES, Office of Emergency Services, out by the jail. They need a culvert and some grading for flooding. And the one that didn't show up, it must be off the page, is, I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it came from this meeting last year, someone, and maybe it was Wynn who mentioned it. The Spring Valley Community Center couldn't be used for Community Resource Center during the PSPS events when PG&E shuts off the power because the parking lot wasn't paved. So we're gonna get the funding to pave that parking lot. Oh, good, it showed. Okay, it doesn't show on mine. So I'm very excited about that. Again, we should hear. You know, I worked with HCD, went back and forth on the budget and the mapping and everything, so we should find out pretty soon. Okay, the survey results. So I asked people where they lived in Lake County, and I'm going to find my printed copy that's bigger because my reading glasses are not letting me read that. So it was a good sample size from around the county. And how long have you lived in Lake County? Most people who took the survey have been here 11 to 25 years or more than 25 years. And do you think climate change is real? 57% strongly agree. Only 2.3% disagree, strongly disagree, and 6% disagree. How concerned are you about the health of Lake County's natural environment? Clear Lake wetlands, fisheries. And as you can see, people are they're extremely concerned, moderately concerned, and slightly concerned, but no one was not concerned at all about our lake. Climate change has me concerned about the well-being of future generations in Lake County. Almost 58% strongly agree. And let's see what shows up. Yeah, you can't see that. 29% agree, 10% disagree, and 2% strongly disagree. So overwhelmingly, people are concerned about climate change and future generations in Lake County, and people strongly agree that our schools should teach the causes, consequences, and solution to climate change. So in the last 12 months, has your Lake County household, family, or building or job been negatively impacted by drought, tree mortality, or heat? And 42% were moderately, 33 slightly, 15 extremely, but less than 10% were not impacted at all. How concerned are you about droughts becoming stronger, longer, or more frequent? And this was last year when we had a totally full lake, but 58% are extremely concerned, 26% moderately, 12% slightly, and less than 4% are not at all concerned. How concerned are you about losing access to Lake County's clean and reliable drinking water supplies? Again, almost 55% are extremely concerned, 24% moderately, 16% slightly, and less than 4% aren't concerned at all. In the past 12 months, has your household been exposed to any of the following weather hazards? And so the majority, what does it say, 87% have power outage, either planned or unplanned. Heat wave, 72%. Excessive winds, 54%. I don't know, this has really been a windy spring. Have you got, every day. Drought, 45%. Dead and dying trees dead and dying trees falling, 13%. Flooding is 14%. Mudslides, 8%, and dry well, 4.5%. And how concerned are you about flooding from rainfall becoming heavier? And only, let's see, it's 13% are not concerned at all. Most people are moderately concerned at 36%. And do you carry flood insurance for your place of residence? And 41% said, I don't know. 36, almost 37% said no, even though I'm required to have it. 11% said yes, I'm required to have it, and 11% said yes, but I'm not required to have it. And my household is well prepared for climate hazards with survival supplies such as food, water, power, generator, phone charger, and radio. 42% agree, 22% are neutral, 21% strongly agree, and 9% disagree, less than 4% strongly disagree. And is your home compliant with state and local regulations for defensible space and vegetation removal? 74% said yes. 18% said I don't know. And did I switch? No, I did. Oops. What was the last one? And 6% said no. And the people who know your zone, do you know what know your zone means? And most people agree. 45 yes, 42 strongly agree, 12% disagree, and less than 1% strongly disagree. And do you know all the routes to take from your home or workplace in case of evacuation? And almost 84% said yes, and 12% said I think so. Less than 4% said no. Kind of helps not to have a lot of roads, I guess, but you know your way around. How concerned are you about temperatures rising in Lake County? Only 3% were not concerned at all. Most people, on a day like today when it's 100 outside, we're a little bit concerned. And then are you concerned about wildfires becoming stronger or more frequent? 66% are extremely concerned, 24% moderately, 6% slightly, 2% not at all concerned. And through innovation and entrepreneurship, California's business community will lead us to successfully adapt to weather hazards. 48% disagree, 37% agree, 8% strongly disagree, and 5% strongly agree. So most people disagree. California, governments in California, state, counties, cities, and tribals are already doing enough to address the impacts of climate change. 47% said no, 24% strongly disagree, 22% agree, and 5% strongly agree. And this is the one that I think is interesting because the state of California recently passed what is called a, it's an acronym, I'm trying to remember the acronym, Climate Change Assessment Zone. There's another name for it. Kind of like you can create your own special district or, but 35% of the people said that they would be willing to pay $10 a month to strengthen Lake County's infrastructure, such as bridges, roads, stormwater. Am I there? Okay. And 30% disagree, 25% strongly agree, and 9% strongly disagree. So overwhelming amount of people who attend these meetings and who went to the NCO's Neighbor Fest last year were willing to pay $10 a month. I thought that was fascinating because the number of times we've tried to pass measures to fund fire departments or cleaning up the lake, and that hasn't. So the next question I want to ask, what are priorities for your community that I can help look for funding for? Law enforcement. Kind of not in my wheelhouse because it has to be for climate, but I do look for things for fire department funding. I'll keep it in mind because we certainly need it countywide. Sediment control coming down from the Keys into Schindler Creek, yeah, from Schindler into the creek, okay. Well, you don't have to answer right now. If you think of something, you can always reach out to me. Send me an email. The easiest email to remember for my, whoops, is climate@lakecountyca.gov, rather than trying to spell my name. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Uh-oh.
One last thing, I only brought 20 copies, but the latest addition to the CWPP is an updated WUI map. Don't we love the acronyms? Wildland Urban Interface. But doing this, when I got the maps from the Forest Service and from CAL FIRE, they had a new WUI, which is the Wildland Urban Intermix. So we created the map, I took it to the Fire Chiefs Association and to CAL FIRE and to the Forest Service, and we got the maps approved. So I have some copies of the maps, but they're also available in the new CWPP on the county website, and I'll put these handouts over there. Thank you.
Okay. All together? Holly, general plan, shoreline area plan, update, do you have anything?
Oh, hi, Holly Harris, Clear Lake Oaks resident. General plan update, there were no updates for May for the general plan. Local area plan, for anybody that was here last month, you know that we had the shoreline, or the second shoreline area plan roundtable discussion, in which the community members were asked what attributes of their area they wanted to preserve and what they wanted to change. I have compiled a list of the benefits and issues from that meeting, which I do have over here, and probably I should hand to you because we have a whole lot of stuff in that. So basically, out of the 8 local area plans in the county, the shoreline area plan is the second largest in the county, and it's the largest in population. It's also the only area plan with 2 municipal advisory councils, this one Earth and then Surth and Lucerne. The issues of importance to each area are pretty varied. Within the Earth boundaries here, there's a wide array of land uses, ranging from a population center such as Clear Lake Oaks to isolated communities with limited access such as High Valley, Double Eagle, Spring Valley. There's multiple HOAs and POAs, and obviously some issues with Lake Village Estates. We can add that into it now. There's agricultural activities, aggregate resources, Clear Lake wetlands, man-made water channels, federal lands, the monument, and an EPA Superfund site. And it's also the scenic gateway to Lake County from I-5. And these are big issues which are not found in the Lucerne area. So during that meeting, it was expressed by Earth members that an area plan focused on our specific issues would result in a better developed plan, and that the shoreline area plan be split in 2, possibly an east shoreline plan and a central shoreline. Now, Pam Consistency, who's not here right now, she's supportive of this, and she asked that I bring this issue up as a request to the Earth Council to find out whether the Earth Council would submit a letter to community development requesting separation or split of this. So that's something that I'm bringing up to you. So basically, would you be interested in sending in a letter to community development asking that there is be a plan for the shoreline area that's focused specifically on, maybe going from Glen Haven, basically the earth boundaries, going from Glen Haven over to the Calusa and Yolo lines, down surrounding Clear Lake and Clear Lake Park, and then up further. And if so, I know that we passed this by Supervisor Crandall, and he's supportive of this.
When you have to make a motion to
Okay, I make a motion that we write a letter.
send the letter.
I'll second the motion. I'm new at this, so.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So what I can do is I can put together something for you that
Yep.
you can send in. The only other thing along that vein is that they are assembling local area plan committee members, and these were solicited in May, and selections are going to be made at an upcoming board meeting, to deal with this. So that's all I have on general plan and local area plans.
How about the cannabis?
Okay. Cannabis Task Force. So basically, we're nearly 2 years into this Cannabis Task Force ordinance, which began in August 2022. But we have not had a meeting since April 22 due to noticing issues, lack of quorum, and staff illnesses. The current agenda, which was Monday, which was canceled, included discussions on property owner approval, background checks and clearances, annual reports and inspections, complaints, tree removal, water use, odor, generators, lights, and pesticides. And I don't know how we were going to get through that in an hour and a half. But from a public point of view, there are a few of us that, watch over this. Our pending questions that we've had for the past month is that the public would like to know at the current meeting what will be on the agenda for the subsequent meeting. That's not been happening that much. We would also like a separation of discussion and voting. What they've been putting on the agenda is we will discuss this issue and we'll vote on it. And we really feel, particularly with some of these big issues, that there needs to be a separation of 2 weeks for the ideas to percolate in case anything else comes up. We also would like to know when overall issues with the public will be discussed, such as possible caps on permits, project sizes, et cetera. And how do we get to add in areas for discussion? These are things that we've had a little bit trouble dealing with. So anyway, that's the task force. In terms of cannabis projects in the earth area, as of today, there are 7 that have been approved. There are 5 that have been withdrawn, denied, or in violation, and we have 6 pending. Right now, there's 2 incomplete applications. One is Lemon Glow up on High Valley Road. The other one is Catholic Church Grow right over here. Another application is under review, which is Lamperti's second project on Sulphur Bank Drive. An initial study is being prepared for uploading to CEQA for public review on Poverty Flats Ranch, which is on High Valley Road. I just got all the documents an hour ago, so I haven't really seen them. But that's 5.7 acres. Already circulated for public review is Hypnotic Farms, which is also up on High Valley Road. And the Planning Commission will review the rescheduled Lou Farms application on the 13th of June, which is also up on High Valley Road. So most of the focus is on High Valley Road right now. So that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, unless you have any questions.
Anybody got any questions of Holly?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Spring Valley update. Anything? No? Nothing? No?
All quiet in Spring Valley.
A lot of tall grass, people need to get out there. If you guys fall into this category too, just because we haven't had a fire for 2 years up here doesn't mean you can't mow the grass. It's really bad in some areas up there this year, and I know Wynn's working on it and I'm working on it too, so we're gonna hopefully speed these guys up a little bit.
Go ahead.
I'm Cindy Storrs. I live in Spring Valley. 2 things tonight at the CSA meeting at 7 p.m. There'll be 2 representatives from PG&E coming to talk about the undergrounding work that's happening in Spring Valley. So it's a time and a place to bring your questions, and they'll be giving some information. And the next CSA meeting in July will be on the 10th, not the 3rd, and we will have some representatives from special districts helping us look at water rate adjustment.
Cindy, do you have anything else on Spring Valley? No. Do you have anything with the fire department at all? No. Okay,
No, I don't
thank
think
you. Supervisor Crandall had an emergency, he had to leave. Howie, did you get the thing about the, they're letting the planning commission, environmental planning for the, did you get that? For the property next door, Claus's property, it's going to some company to do the planning for the whole, you wanna, oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I run the Firewise program in Spring Valley, and so far this year, we've only taken out about 30,000 pounds of stuff that would be burnable. But I wanted to say thank you to Clear Lake Environmental Resource Center with their free wood chipping program. They just came through last Friday. We had a 47-foot long pile. We had a 67-foot long pile. We had a 20-foot long pile, and then there were a number of smaller ones. And they took them all out, and we really appreciate that. We are working on the empty lots that have grass 6 feet tall. Unfortunately, our volunteer crew has been cut down to the point we can only work 1 day a week, but we are working on them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
So there were you going to do new business next?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so this is kind of from that. Supervisor Crandall was going to talk about all of this, but since he's not here, I'll just bring it up. So yes, it went to the board, and Supervisor Sabatier can probably answer. Did you approve the Helix agreement for Klaus Park? Yes. Okay, got it. I didn't watch that part of it. But anyway, Lars Ewing, who's in charge of community development, and for those of you who may not know, where am I standing right here? Right over here in between this spot and the lava pit. All of that land was donated by a gentleman named Klaus, and that's going to become a it's like 575-acre park. He also donated the money to do a lot of that work. And so right now, it's been taking a couple of years, et cetera, to get going, but anyway, Lars put out a contract for environmental planning, and what they're going to do is take a look at interim uses. They're going to look at the environment. And what Lars told me is that he will be getting a steering group together to work with them to make sure that their plan is in keeping with what we want. So he said it will move along much faster than the turnover of the property. So that should be coming through soon. The other thing that he was going to mention was we've had in the past discussions about the safety of the crosswalk at the East Lake Elementary School. And Supervisor Crandall had been talking with a couple of places, but just recently, this past month, Caltrans released a draft proposal regarding bike lanes and pedestrian safety improvements along Highway 20 from Upper Lake to Clear Lake Oaks. They were here to talk about this past fall. And this included two scenarios. Alternative 1 would take care of Nice and Glenhaven, and Alternative 2 would also add in Upper Lake and Clear Lake. And in Alternative 2, they included a high visibility crosswalk at East Lake Elementary School with rapid flashing lights, advanced warning beacons, and pedestrian median refuge islands in there. It was pretty extensive. So I spoke with Caltrans and asked if there was any way that they could, but due to budget constraints, they can only do the first alternative now. So I asked if there was any way that they could make the crosswalk a high priority and get it into this first phase. They looked at it, they don't have the money, but they now realize it's a very high priority. Earth sent in a letter requesting this to happen. But basically, they've red flagged this project, and they're going to fit it in as quickly as possible, and they'll keep us updated on that. And then the only other thing was today also I got the information on the proposed cell tower, which is right next to the Twin Space Needle. They're trying to put in. So I haven't looked at it, but we have until June 20th to take a look at it and give any feedback. It looks to me like it's going to be next to the Space Needle, and it's going to look like it, but I haven't really looked at it in depth. So I will keep you guys informed.
Thank you. Okay, under new business, anybody got any new business? The board? Any announcements? Oh, you're way too easy.
Well, let's see. Okay. Okay, so. All right, can you hear me? Okay. So, another event, hooray, at Nylander Park on June 15th. Another little craft fair. Generally, they're from 10 to 4. They've been super fun, really great. So go attend those, support your local vendors, and buy their stuff, because they're putting them on, and I'm super excited to get something fun in our little community and get to meet all the people that are making it happen and participating. So that's June 15th, and from 10 to 4, I believe. Thank you. We're going to meet on the 3rd, right?
That was the 10th.
What?
You said it's changed to the 10th.
I did not know that. Okay. I don't know anything about, I don't know.
Okay, any other announcements? Anybody got any? All right, the next Earth meeting be Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, here at the lodge at 4 o'clock.
No, you just said it's going to be July 10th.
Who just announced that the 4th of July, the next month's meeting's the 10th, not the 3rd? Oh, Cindy. Where'd she go? Is that right, or did she leave?
So why,
Oh, because of the holiday?
Because of, yeah, because it's, the meeting would be on the
Change
3rd.
that.
okay, I haven't seen anything, but
Okay. I didn't even think about the holidays. Okay, so it'll be July 10th.
oh, July 10th. Yeah, they changed it to July 10th.
July 3rd is the day before,
The hall, yeah.
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 Check with the lodge, that's their Wimpy Burger night.
Yeah, it's Wimpy Burger night too, so we have to have our meeting over with in an hour.
July 3rd.
Don't-
10?
You need to check with them.
Yes, I'll check with them and make sure before we make, I'll get a hold of the them. Okay. Meeting adjourned, less than. Thank you all for coming.